He died at home, alone, just 57. Prince's death shocked the world, but what came out after was far worse. Prince Rogers Nelson was more than a musician. He was a revolution. Purple Rain made him a global icon. Sign of the Times proved he was a genius. For decades, he ruled the charts and redefined pop music. His guitar solos were legendary. His dance moves were electric. Fans called him the Purple One. Critics called him untouchable. But behind the glamour was a man carrying decades of pain. Prince's childhood was broken from the start. His parents divorced when he was just 7 years old. He bounced between homes, never feeling stable. At school, kids made fun of his small size. He felt like an outsider everywhere he went. The divorce hit him hard. He later said he just wanted peace above all else. Music became his escape. In his basement, he taught himself piano, guitar, and drums. While other kids played outside, Prince stayed inside and practiced. Music gave him control when everything else felt chaotic. It was his safe space, his refuge from a world that felt cruel. As a teenager, he lived with a neighbor named Bernadette Anderson. She became like a second mother to him. Prince said she helped him finish high school. Without her, he might never have made it, but the damage from his early years never left. He carried those scars his whole life. By the 1980s, Prince was a superstar, but fame couldn't heal his wounds. In 1996, something happened that broke him completely. His wife, Mate Garcia, gave birth to their son. They named him Amir, which means prince in Arabic. But Amir was born with Pfeiffer syndrome, a rare genetic disorder. His skull bones fused too early. His hands and feet were deformed. Prince had refused genetic testing during the pregnancy. Doctors warned about possible problems, but Prince said no. He believed God would protect his child. He prayed instead of getting medical help. Amir lived for only 6 days. He struggled to breathe until the end. The loss destroyed Prince. Mite said he never got over it. Their marriage fell apart. Prince dealt with his grief the only way he knew how. He poured it into his music. He wrote songs about Amir. He channeled his pain into art. But the wound never healed. Prince became even more isolated after losing his son. He lived like a hermit inside Paisley Park, his Minnesota compound. Friends said he barely ate. Sometimes dessert was his only meal. He would go long periods without food or water. People had to remind him to drink. His work schedule was insane. He would sound check for 4 hours, perform a show, then record music until dawn. Sometimes he got only 4 hours of sleep. He worked around the clock. His output was mind-boggling. Songs flowed out of him like water, but it came at a cost. Prince's performances were physically brutal. He would jump off speakers and land in splits. He did somersaults on hard stages. He danced in high heels for hours. His body took a beating every night. After 40 years of this punishment, chronic pain set in. His hips hurt constantly. Scars on his body showed he had surgeries, but they didn't help. The pain got worse every year. To keep performing, Prince started taking Percocet. His doctor prescribed it legally at first, but as the pain increased, so did his need for stronger drugs. This was during America's opioid crisis. Doctors were prescribing painkillers like candy. The U.S. used 80% of the world's prescription opioids, despite having only 5% of the population. Millions of people got hooked. Prince was just another victim of a broken system. By 2015, people close to Prince knew something was wrong. His friend Kirk Johnson called a doctor about Prince's health. Prince was struggling, but he hid it well. He was a master at keeping secrets. Privacy was everything to him. On April 7, 2016, Prince saw Dr. Michael Schulenberg. He complained about leg numbness and arm tingling. He had vomited the night before. The doctor gave him fluids and vitamins. Prince canceled his Atlanta concerts. His team said it was the flu, but it was much worse. A week later, Prince's private jet made an emergency landing in Illinois. He had collapsed and stopped breathing. Paramedics found him unconscious. They gave him Narcan, a drug that reverses opioid overdoses. The first dose didn't work. They had to give him a second shot. This should have been a massive warning sign. Doctors wanted Prince to stay in the hospital for 24 hours. He refused. He was worried about his privacy. He left after just a few hours. His representatives told the media it was flu symptoms. They lied to protect his image. After the plane incident, Dr. Schulenberg did something shocking. He prescribed 15 Percocet pills under Kirk Johnson's name instead of Prince's. This was illegal, but the doctor was trying to protect Prince's privacy. Johnson later said Prince took one pill, but it didn't help his pain. Prince's inner circle was panicking. They contacted Dr. Howard Kornfeld, an addiction specialist. Kornfeld sent his son Andrew to Paisley Park with buprenorphine, a drug used to treat opioid withdrawal. But Andrew wasn't a doctor. He was just trying to help. On April 20th, Dr. Schulenberg met with Prince again. He took blood and urine samples. They talked about opioid withdrawal symptoms. Prince was finally ready to get help, but it was too late. The next morning, April 21st, 2016, Andrew Kornfeld arrived at Paisley Park with Kirk Johnson and Prince's assistant. They were supposed to meet Prince and start his treatment. Instead, they found him dead in an elevator. He was alone, just like he had lived. The autopsy revealed the horrible truth. Prince had died from fentanyl poisoning. His liver contained 450 micrograms per kilogram of the drug. Anything over 69 is usually fatal. Prince had more than 6 times the deadly amount in his system. But here's the shocking part. Prince thought he was taking Vicodin. The pills he consumed were counterfeits, made with pure fentanyl instead. Fentanyl is 50 times stronger than heroin. A tiny amount can kill you instantly. Someone had given Prince fake pills that were basically poison. The investigation found counterfeit pills throughout Paisley Park. They looked exactly like real Vicodin, but they contained lethal doses of fentanyl. Prince had no idea what he was really taking. He died thinking he was managing his pain with a familiar drug. No one was ever charged in Prince's death. The source of the fake pills was never found. Someone gave him those drugs, but they got away with it. The case went cold. Justice was never served. Prince's death wasn't just about drugs. It was about a system that failed him. His childhood trauma never got treated. His chronic pain wasn't properly managed. The opioid crisis made dangerous drugs easy to find. His celebrity status made getting real help almost impossible. He spent his whole life building walls to protect himself, but those same walls kept out the people who could have saved him. Prince died as he lived, alone and in pain. His music gave joy to millions, but he couldn't find peace for himself. The lies started immediately after his death. His team said it was flu complications. The media speculated about everything except the truth. It took months for the real story to come out. By then, the damage was done. Prince's legacy was tainted by addiction rumors and conspiracy theories. But Prince's story is bigger than just his death. He showed us that even the most talented people carry invisible wounds. Childhood trauma doesn't just go away when you become famous. Pain doesn't disappear when you make great art. Sometimes the very thing that makes you special also destroys you. The investigation revealed disturbing details. Police found bottles of pills scattered throughout Paisley Park. Some were real prescription drugs. Others were deadly fakes. Prince had been playing Russian roulette without knowing it. The fake pills looked perfect. They had the right markings and colors, but inside was pure death. Fentanyl had flooded the American drug supply by 2016. It was cheap to make and incredibly potent. Thousands of people died from accidental fentanyl poisoning that year. The most heartbreaking part is that Prince was trying to get help. The day before he died, he was discussing treatment options. He was ready to face his addiction, but help came one day too late. His death certificate listed the cause as accidental fentanyl toxicity, but the real cause was much deeper. Decades of untreated trauma, chronic pain from years of physical abuse to his body, a society that made addiction shameful instead of treatable. Prince spent his entire career giving everything to his fans. His concerts were religious experiences. His albums changed lives. But when he needed help, the world failed him. The same privacy that protected his art became a prison that kept him from getting care. Prince's music will live forever. Purple Rain still gives us chills. When Doves Cry still makes us dance. His guitar still weeps beautiful tears. But his death reminds us that behind every great artist is a human being who bleeds, hurts, and needs help, just like everyone else.